What's going on, everyone? This is Eric coming at you from just outside Hartford, Connecticut. And today we'll be doing the third episode of our trade breakdown series. And as you can see, it is the Dwight Howard trade from the year 2012. Now, this is the third trade we're doing in 2012. And it's just because that happened 8 years ago. So, it's most of the moving pieces are done by now. But without further ado, let's jump into the trade. So as you can see, it was a 4-team trade. And I did color code the teams. So anything that you see that's in blue is going to be the Denver Nuggets. Black is the LA Lakers. Green is the Philadelphia 76ers. And red is the Orlando Magic for the top part of this. So the Denver Nuggets would acquire small forward Andre Iguodala from the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, Iguodala, he would go on to have one solid season in Denver. And he averaged 18 points a game and 8 rebounds a game. But he would actually leave the team following the season in free agency. He would go to the Golden State Warriors. The rest is history with him. Now we get to the LA Lakers. So the LA Lakers would acquire center Dwight Howard, power forward Earl Clark, and point guard Chris Duhon, all from the Orlando Magic. Now, Dwight Howard, well, he was probably arguably the top center in the league, and arguably a top 5 player in the league at this point, he did not mesh well in Los Angeles. He had a lot of drama with, in particular, Kobe Bryant. He claimed that Kobe needed to pass the ball more, and Kobe kind of called him soft when he had a back injury or shoulder injury. So, he returned from the shoulder back injuries at around the All-Star break, and the team would actually barely make the playoffs despite having all these superstars, including, Steve Nash, because that was supposed to be the super team that would dominate the league. It didn't work out. So they end up getting swept in the first round of the playoffs. And this is despite Howard averaging 17.1 points a game and 12.4 rebounds a game. He was clearly not happy in Los Angeles, so he left. And he went to join Houston. Earl Clark had a career year in the 2012-13 season, but he was still mostly a backup, and for him, a career year wasn't much. So he left via free agency after the 1 year. And then lastly, of course, was Chris Duhon. And Duhon struggled his lone season in LA. He averaged 2.9 points a game and 2.9 assists per game in 18 minutes on average. He was waived during the summer of 2013 and has been out of the league since. So in other words, all 3 players were gone after 1 season. And we get to the Sixers. They would acquire center Andrew Bynum from the Los Angeles Lakers and shooting guard Jason Richardson from the Orlando Magic. Now, Bynum is a story in and of himself. He didn't play at all for the Sixers in the 2012-13 season. He had he just had knee injuries, and it was just a saga. And he would end up leaving without playing a single game for the team. Jason Richardson, he played solid until January of 2013 when he got an injury, and then he would actually be out of basketball for 2 years from that injury. He returns to the team in February of 2015, and he doesn't play all that well, but he's not bad. And he would actually retire after the 2014-15 season, mostly due to that injury that he had suffered, that, it started acting up again, so he just said, I'm done. Now we get to the Orlando Magic. So the Magic, they got a lot of moving parts in this trade. So first off, from the Denver Nuggets, they would acquire shooting guard, small forward Aaron Alfaro. I always mispronounce his name. Power forward Al Harrington, a 2013 second round pick, and a 2014 first round pick. So I'm going to discuss these guys if they don't jump into this part here. So power forward Al Harrington, he would only appear in 10 games for Orlando, and he ends up getting cut in the summer of 2013. So from the 76ers, the Magic would get center Nikola Vucevic, strong forward Maurice Harkless, if you prefer, and a 2017 first rounder. So Vucevic is still on the team on the Orlando Magic. He's arguably a top 5 starting center in the league. He's doing very well. He made his first All-Star game this past season. He just signed a big contract extension with Orlando last offseason, so the 2018-19 offseason. So he's there for another 4 years, 3 years after this season finally ends. He's been doing pretty well, so that was a good pickup for Orlando. And at this point, the best player joining a new team in this trade. And then from the Lakers, the Magic would acquire power forward Josh McRoberts, small forward Christian Iyenga, and a 2017 first rounder. So, Iyenga would actually never play for Orlando. So that was nothing, but I mean, he was kind of a throw-in. So now I get to this part. So the Magic started making more trades. They're a rebuilding team. Remember, I was a fan of the Sixers when I really fell at basketball, so the process. Orlando, similar situation. So they turned what was there into this. So in February of 2013, Orlando would trade Josh McRoberts to Charlotte in exchange for a power forward named Hakeem Warwick. Now, McRoberts for Orlando, he did okay. He played 41 games for the team, but he was a bench player. So Hakeem Warwick, he doesn't even make the team. He gets waived. So they basically just traded him for, salary relief type of thing. So their 2013 second-round pick from the Denver Nuggets would become the 51st overall pick, in which they used to select Romero Osby. Osby did not play a single game for the Magic or in the NBA for that matter. You don't want to say a wasted pick because it's a second-round pick, but could have been better. So now we get to the 2014 draft, and their first-round pick acquired from Denver would become the 12th overall. There they would select forward Dario Saric, and this is where it gets a little fun. So Orlando almost immediately would send Saric, as well as Philadelphia's first-round pick in 2017, which they had acquired here in the Dwight Howard trade, back to the 76ers in exchange for the 10th overall pick in that draft, point guard Elfrid Payton. So basically, the Magic traded away the first-round pick they got from the Sixers here in the Dwight Howard trade to move up 2 spots and get Elfrid Payton. So, it's a little confusing there. But now the Sixers own their 2017 first-round pick again. The Magic do not own it. So we'll get to Payton in a second. Don't worry. So in July of 2014, Orlando would trade Aaron Alfaro to Denver in exchange for shooting guard small forward Evan Fournier and shooting guard Devin Marble. So Evan Fournier is still on the team. He's become a solid player for Orlando. He's arguably the face of the franchise right now. A lot of people know him. He's one of the best players, specifically from France. He's pretty good. I mean, he's a solid player. He's a good wing to have on your team. Alfaro, he spent 2 strong seasons on the team, but didn't really do too much once he left. He kind of scared the team. They knew he was probably going to reject his player option, so that's why they traded him to Denver. But he was the best player on that team for the 2 years he was there in Orlando. So then we get to Mo Harkless. So in July of 2015, the team would actually trade forward Mo Harkless to Portland for a 2020 second-round pick. So again, this trade keeps going. But we're not going to get to that right now. So Mo Harkless, when he was in Orlando, he had 3 solid seasons there, but he never developed into the potential star that he could be. He's more or less a bench player at this point in his career. It's too bad, but if you need him to start, you can start him. Just don't expect stellar results from him. So then we get to July of 2016 when Orlando would trade shooting guard Devin Marble and a 2020 second-round pick to the Los Angeles Clippers for shooting guard C.J. Wilcox in cash considerations. So Marble played 44 games over 2 seasons for Atlanta, but he didn't do too much. He was more or less a bench player on that team. He was sent to and fro the D-League, so, that just tells you what type of player he was. Again, a 2020 second-round pick involved here, so yet another piece that's still in motion to date. C.J. Wilcox, Solid player at some points in his career, but by the time he had gotten to Orlando, he wasn't much of anything. He would appear in 22 games for the team and then walk in free agency. So now we get to an interesting one. So in May of 2017, Orlando would send a 2018 second round pick to the Toronto Raptors for their team, for their GM at that time, who was Jeff Weltman, and Orlando would make Weltman their president of basketball operations. Yeah, they basically traded a pick for a GM, which you don't see a lot, but it does happen. We'll get to where they get that pick from in a second. So their Lakers 2017 first round pick would turn into a 2017 and a 2018 second round pick. So basically, they had a rule that it was a protected first round pick. So if the Lakers pick fell between X and Y, let's just say 1 and 10 in 2014, it would be in LA's hands. And then let's just say 1 and 5 in 2015, it would stay with the Lakers. And then 1 and 3 in 2016, it would stay with the Lakers. And then if it still was in that area in 2017, 1 and 3, it would stay in the Lakers, and the Lakers would give up 2 seconds. It's weird how they do that, but that's what happened. So the 2018 second round pick would be sent to Toronto in the aforementioned deal for Jeff Weltman. So that's where that goes. So the 2017 second round pick would become the 33rd overall pick, in which they would select small forward Wesley Iwundu. So Iwundu just he doesn't do too much for the team. He's been an okay backup for the team for a couple years now, but that's pretty much it. So then we get to February 2018, in which Elfrid Payton is traded to the Phoenix Suns in exchange for a 2018 second round pick. Now, Elfrid Payton had a solid career with Orlando. He was really an assist-driven point guard who got some steals and rebounds as well. He's kind of a decent triple-double threat for his teams whenever he's playing, but he's not like an elite point guard. So that 2018 second-round pick would become the 41st overall, in which they would select forward Jared Vanderbilt. Now, they would immediately trade Vanderbilt to the Denver Nuggets in exchange for the 43rd overall pick, in which they used to select forward Josh Jackson, not the one that's in Sacramento, but another one, and a 2019 second-round pick. So Josh Jackson, he wouldn't do too much in the league. He's kind of just a bench player. That's the best way to put it, a bench player. So then we get to a little fun with that 2019 second. So the 2019 second, in July of 2019, they would trade the 2019 second along with Cleveland's 2019 second rounder, which we don't want to get into that mess, and center Bismack Biyombo. They would trade out all that to Charlotte, and Chicago was also involved in this trade in exchange for center Timofey Mozgov and point guard Jerian Grant. So, Mozgov would get waived after not playing at all for the team. He had an injury, and he just, that was a bad contract when the Lakers paid him. We all knew that. Whereas Grant, he had a solid season. He would play 60 games for Orlando, but that was pretty much it for him. But yeah, so this trade technically isn't officially done yet, as we still have 2 second-round picks that are involved in it in this year. So technically, in a normal year, this trade would be done, as the 2020 NBA draft would have happened last month in June. But here we are. So, we still have 2 2020 second-round picks that are going to change hands. Portland's giving up theirs to Orlando, and Orlando's giving up theirs to the LA Clippers. But yeah, that was the trade. So obviously the big losers of this trade, pretty much LA and Philadelphia. I'd have to say, if I had to choose a biggest loser, it would probably be Philadelphia. They gave up, Vukovic and Harkless to get Bynum, who never played, and Richardson, who played very little in a couple seasons. LA is pretty close because of the super team drama garbage. Denver, Iguodala didn't play all that much for them, but at least he was a solid player who helped guide them to the playoffs in his one season there. And then, of course, you could see the Magic seem to have an obsession with trading with Denver. They keep trading with them. They did it a couple times here. So Orlando, they walked out with a lot of players from this. Of course, trading away Philadelphia's 2017 first rounder was kind of stupid. That pick would become the 5th overall pick, and it would eventually become De'Aaron Fox after another trade that the Sixers would make. So that just goes to show you that the Orlando Magic could have said, okay, and, kept Dario Saric and got De'Aaron Fox. So just imagine that before I can declare the Magic winners. But they are the winners of this trade. They just got so many assets in return. And while some of them, like, Anga, McRoberts, Harrington, they didn't do much for the team. Others, like, Aflaru would turn into Evan Fournier and Nikola Vukovic. These guys became solid players for the team that are still playing well for the team. So Orlando definitely wins this trade. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I followed basketball at this point. I really enjoyed basketball at this point. And I would like to do more videos like this. If it's something that interests you guys, please make sure to like. Leave a comment if you have any suggestions for a trade breakdown video. I'm always looking at the comments. Anything that you leave, I will see. Definitely make sure to leave a comment. Make sure to like. And if you like the content here, definitely subscribe. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. It's Eric. Have a good day.